Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chalavet Movies. My name is John, and this video will be my top 10 4Ks that I've watched in the past, say, 5 weeks. Now, what I've done is with this lot, I've ranked them like from worst to best. And what I'll do is now I've watched these ones. These are like first-time watches from the collection from the 4Ks. I haven't watched these 4Ks before. I've watched some of the movies before, but I haven't watched them in 4K. This is the first time watch with that. Now what I'm going to do, I've done that twice. I'll link the other one down below. And what I'll say is that the next one I'll do with my next 10 4Ks will be ones that I've watched before, but I haven't watched on this telly. I think they were all sensational. It will probably be some of my best top 10 4Ks that I've watched. But I'm going to re-watch them on my new telly and see if it brings anything more to them, because these ones do look absolutely incredible, mostly. And I do think that I want to revisit some that I know will look good. So this is going to be this top 10 is going to be the sort of last one at this point for ones that I've not seen before on the 4K. And I have a good time with some of these movies. Some of them have been blown us away. Some of them have been quite underwhelming. So at number 10 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Now, unfortunately, I've got to say, this movie in 4K, it does nothing for the movie. This, I don't know why, this movie has just never, it looks great on a Blu-ray, but stick with a Blu-ray. This looks, even on the new telly, because I thought on the new telly it might sort of just give it that extra little bit of a colour, a little bit of whatever. It just doesn't. I don't know why this movie looks so kind of like a Blu-ray. It's got the sort of uptick from a Blu-ray to the 4K is just not there. It's so disappointing actually, because this movie is so bright and colourful. It should look sensational. It's just, just doesn't do it. Unfortunately, I've got to put this bottom. To be honest, if I hadn't saw this and I just looked at some 10 discs and I thought this has got to be like right at the top, but unfortunately it's not. So that's a big shame that that's at number 10. It could have been much more, and I don't know if this is the best it can ever be. I don't think it's. I think this could be better, but will it ever get re-released? I don't think so. So avoid this 4K. I mean, I've got it on 4K. It's there. It's all right. You get a slight uptick, but if you were looking for anything that was like a big jaw dropper, it's not in here. So that's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. At number 9 is Citizen Kane. Now, I got this the other day, and I thought, right, this is going to be the time when I watch Citizen Kane. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it in, go in there with no expectations, and to see what happens. And I know I've tried this before, and I can't even remember any part of this movie, even though I've seen bits and bobs of it and thought, well, you know, when I put it on, it was like watching a movie for a first time. The picture quality on here it varies, because, as you know, there is no original negatives for here. Apparently, according to what I read, that there was a lot of silver in negatives, you know, nitrate. So what they would do is, when they'd sort of finished the run, they would get rid of the original negatives. They would kind of get all the silver out of them, destroy them, and just use their sort of like prints that they're taken off it, which is a travesty. I can imagine the people who do these remasters must have cried when they found them type of things out. So anyway, this set is spectacular, and so you're never going to get the best Citizen Kane, unfortunately. I was expecting it to be average, and to be honest, in some parts it looks really, really nice, a lot better than I thought it was going to look. But this movie has a lot of stuff from like newsreels. It has a lot of cuts in the movie, so there's always screen wipes going off. So obviously when it does a transfer, you get an overlay. So for that scene, the whole scene might be an overlay to the next scene. So you don't get the quality there all the time, and that's just down to the way it was made. So I can't take anything away from it for that, because we're trying new sort of techniques. But in essence, this one does look very nice. There's the dark levels, especially the black levels, are the star of this show. It's not going to be a jaw dropper again. Unfortunately, there could be a better version out there, but this is the best it's ever going to look. And I was quite happy with it. The sound in here was quite nice as well. The movie itself, did I like it or not? I put it on, thought it is what it is, and I might just look at it and say, well, at least I've seen it all the way through. So put it on, watched it, and had a ball with it. This movie is absolutely brilliant. I was stunned by how good this movie is. I always thought it was a political drama. It's not. To me, honestly, it comes across a bit like a comedy in places. because Orson Welles seems to laugh all the way through this movie for some reason. He's always got a grin on his face. This film is about the rise of Citizen Kane. I think it's when it puts the word citizen on it. It sounds a bit like melodramatic and sort of like political, and a movie that's not my cup of tea. But don't forget the word citizen. It's just about this person. It's about his life story. The best thing about this movie is when the first, and there's not going to be a spoiler alert, at first you see him die on bed, and the last thing he said is Rosebud, and he spent the whole movie is about them trying to find out what does the word Rosebud mean. Wow. I'm not going to say anything more than that. And I always thought I'd been told or had found out what Rosebud meant, and I had this vision in my head of what it could mean, and it wasn't that. Wow. So yeah, Rosebud. It's all, every time you talk about this movie, everyone mentions Rosebud, and you think, right. But I urge anybody who's on the fence with this movie, if you've got it lurking in your collection and you think, oh, I will watch it, but I can't be bothered with it, or it's just not my cup of tea, or I'm not in the mood for it, put it on. You will be surprised at how good this movie is, and also the techniques that they use on this movie is next level. They're using things that they did for the first time. The techniques and the lights on here are just unreal. There's famous scenes in here which I knew happened. There were when you have somebody in focus at the front of the picture, and the people at the back row is out of focus, or when you go to focus on them, this person goes out of focus. That's how they do it in cinema. But they got this technique that they could put everybody in the frame in focus. Now somebody's sitting right at the camera, and then somebody's right at the back in a doorway. They're both in focus. I kind of get my head around it actually. Obviously it's black and white, and it's a square. It's a square picture, which isn't a problem to me. But I highly recommend this. There must be the one that probably a lot of collectors have got in their collection, and they've just thought, I'll watch it like I did. I'll watch it sometime because everyone raves about it. But it'll be heavy. It'll be boring. It'll be a movie that doesn't resonate at all with me now. This is from 1941, and 2022 how is this going to connect us? But you'd be surprised at how much it would. So go in with open eyes and just see what it is. I urge anybody to check this out, and I do think this is highly regarded as one of the best movies of all time, and I would say it is actually. It's not for me. It's not the best film of all time, but it's definitely up there, and I can see why everybody goes for it. So that's highly recommended. That's Citizen Kane. So at number 8 is Halloween 2018. This movie, it's all right. It's not bad at all. I'd watched it on Sky Movies and quite enjoyed it, and then I watched it on here. The print on here is quite good. It's not brilliant. The dark levels are quite good, but I was expecting a little bit more from it. It didn't really deliver as much as I thought it was, but it's all right. Don't get us wrong. It's not bad at all. It's just me sort of nitpicking. But I thought the movie wasn't as good at this watch as I did enjoy it at the previous time. I did enjoy it, but I do think there's obviously better Halloween movies out there. But as it is, it's not a bad Halloween movie. I'm interested to see how Halloween ends. Does it? So the movie itself is quite violent. These new Halloweens are a lot more violent than the old Halloweens, and it kind of works for me. I don't mind that too much. I do prefer the original Halloweens for their sort of more what you don't see. But I don't think that can happen these days. If you had a movie on that was like Halloween with absolutely no blood in it that much, people would say, I'm not watching that. That's absolutely terrible, because audiences have changed their minds. So at number 8, that's Halloween 2018. So number 7 is Shaun of the Dead. Now, I was desperate to see this movie, but I knew it was out in 4K, and I heard the 4K wasn't brilliant, but I knew I had to have it, and I saw this for about 20 quid, so I thought, right, I'm getting onto that. It doesn't have a slipcover, but I have got a slipcover for World's End, so that goes over the top of it, so that's me sorted with that. But the movie itself, it's good, don't get us wrong, it's just, you've got that feeling that it could look that little bit better. The colours, I mean, everything's good in it. It's just a little bit of a lower 4K than you're used to seeing. I've got to say though, if I had to say what was my favourite 4K I've watched in this bunch, it's definitely Shaun of the Dead. I love this movie, and I didn't realise how funny it was, because I watched it loads of times. I haven't seen it for a bit, and when I put it on, it's just a delight. It's classic. Everything in it, like all the lines, I remember them, and they're just so funny. This is just, it's by far the best one for me in this trilogy. I do like the other two, but the sad part of it is, and I haven't watched the other two actually, but the sad part of it is that this probably could have been that little bit better, but maybe it's just, it is what it is, and it can't get it looking any better, because I don't imagine this film to be much of a big budget one. So it's a shame to put it down so low down in the list, but unfortunately I've got to be true to it. If I had to put it on ones that I enjoyed, it'd be number one. But yeah, so this it is one I would urge to get cheap, but I would still urge to get it because it is an uptick on the Blu-ray. It's not a massive uptick, but it's enough an uptick to actually get it cheap. So that's at number 7. That's Shaun of the Dead. So number 6 is AntMan. Now this is a first time watch for me and Deborah. We have never seen the movie before, and we really enjoyed it. Actually, we do like Paul Rudd. I think he's a great actor. He's dead funny. This movie is quite humorous actually, and I did enjoy it from start to finish. There's some scenes in here. There's some outdoor scenes that were probably shot. They might have been shot in IMAX. I doubt it actually, but they've got this sort of really good look. So certain scenes in this are jaw-dropping. Other scenes are just your sort of average run-of-the-mill 4K, and by that I mean that it's good. It's not. You can tell it's a 4K, but it's not as good as if they had all them outdoor scenes were the same as all of the movie was. It would have been probably number one, but it just kind of drops down a little bit. That's probably down to the fact that these Marvel ones haven't had a 4K master at all. Have had a 2K uptick, which is. It's fair enough. I mean, it's a lot of CGI in here, so you know they might not want to do that. I can understand that. So do know that these ones are. If I like them enough, I will get these on 4K, and I think for most of the time they would probably look pretty good or very good, but there wouldn't be one of those ones where I don't think any of them would be at number 1, unfortunately. So at number 6, that's AntMan. So at number 5 is Phenomena. This is the Creepers box set from Arrow. So as the 4Ks for the Dario Argento ones that Arrow have done, this is definitely the best one. It's really nice. It's crystal clear. The picture quality is hardly any grain in it. The colours are lovely, and it's got great outdoor scenes. Look really nice. Yes, it has got a sort of the quality from 1985. You can tell it's a 1985 movie. But I'm not taking anything away from it. I really enjoyed it this time round. I got it this time round, because sometimes when I watch it, it kind of goes, where's this one going? But I did enjoy this movie this time round a lot more times than I ever have done before. And some of the dark levels in here, the black levels, are really nice as well. I think that elevates this movie a little bit more than I previously knew. There was a lot of dark scenes in it. So it's not a one that I've watched that many times, but I will be watching this a lot more. I do want to watch the other 2 cuts of it, especially the Creepers cut, because I knew I used to watch that from the video library all the time, and I want to see what it was like, because when I've watched the full version of Phenomena, I can't imagine them cutting all that much out to make the shorter version. So I want to know what things I have cut out. I probably won't watch it again after that, but I would like to see the differences between the two. And like I say, as Arrow have done these Dario Argento movies, this is by far the best. So at number 5, that's Phenomena. At number 4 is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid, and I do remember quite liking it, but nothing more than that. I do know that I used to read the book all the time. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I used to think was one of the best things I'd ever read. I used to love the illustrations in there as well. This one here, I have heard from Keith from Euphoria Pictures, linked down below, that he said this one looks sensational, so I knew it would look sensational. But I want to see how it looked for myself, because sometimes you think a movie that's from 1971, will it be able to look that good? Will the colours look as good as I thought it would be? And they did. This movie does look amazing. The colours in here, especially when they go into the Chocolate Factory. It looks good anyway, but it's just takes it up a level. I really had a blast with this movie. It's one of the. I was so, because Deborah says, "What on earth are you buying that for?" It's a kids movie. I said, "Well, I know, but if I like it, it's movie. I don't mind kids movies that I grew up with, because these are things from your past. They're sort of like, it's got a bit of a nostalgia trip with it." So yes, so if you're ever thinking that this will probably not look that good, this looks really, really good. It's always in the sale. I got it in the sale as well. Lovely slip as well. So for me, it was a no-brainer to get it, but I'm so glad that I got the heads up of Keith to say that this is one to go for, because that's why I watch loads of people when they unbox 4K stuff just to see what their views are in it, and if I trust the person's opinion, then I will go for them. So it's good to get these heads up about these movies that you might have just thought, well, I don't think that I'm going to spend money on it to have it if it's just going to look average. So at number 4, that's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So at number 3 is Back to the Future, the first movie. We watched this the other night, and I put it on thinking it would look nice, and it looks really, really nice. In fact, it was close with Willy Wonka. I was thinking, at times I was thinking Willy Wonka was better, and I thought this one was a bit better. But when I watched the full movie, I thought, no, that this looks nice, and the cars in this, the cars as well, like I say, with 4K, sometimes cars just come to life. Everything about it was great. The sound was absolutely brilliant in it. And I have heard people say that this one isn't like the best sort of like you would expect a bit more. To me, I thought this was very adequate. I didn't think I was like put up with it at all. I do think that I haven't watched the other two yet. They are set mainly sort of like in bright lights. I know that the first one is as well. So when you're outside, when it's outdoor stuff, when they're going around the town, it looks amazing. It looks like really, really good. When you go in, interior shots look a bit darker, not as good. But there's a lot of films like that actually. Top Gun's like that. Looks brilliant on the outdoor scenes. On the indoor scenes, it doesn't look as good. But I can't take anything away from this. I had a blast with this movie. I mean, this trilogy is like nothing else. It's one of the best trilogies out there. It should never ever be remade or added to. It should just be left alone because it's perfect. And yeah, so we can't wait to watch the other two. So at number 3, that's Back to the Future. So number 2 is Halloween Kills. Now I want to give a big shout out to Matt Chapman for sending me the slipcover for this, and I also want to give a big shout out to Martin Geary for sending me the Blu-ray slipcover to put on the top of this. Now the Blu-ray slipcover is still over there, and I will be getting a Blu-ray to put on there, so I'll not be getting rid of that at all. So I want to thank Matt and Martin for thinking of me and sending me the slipcovers for this movie, and I couldn't find it anywhere out in the wild. I actually got this off Amazon, and it came without a slip, so I want to thank. That's great that people would actually send me slipcovers for these movies. I really do appreciate that. So I watched the movie. I was dying to watch the movie actually. I don't know why. I think I'd heard so many conflicting reports about it. I thought, well, it's either going to be one or the other. And I wanted to see on which side of the fence I was. I think sometimes when you hear so many people talking about it, and some people saying it's brilliant, some people saying it's absolutely awful, you think, where is it? Where do I stand on it? And it makes it more interesting to see what you're going to get from it. So anyway, I put it on, and like I say, the 2018 one, I watched that before this, and it's okay. It's not bad. I did prefer it the first time I saw it. The second time I was not that keen on it. I put this on, and I had an absolute blast with this movie. I thought it was really good. Yes, it's got its flaws. I'm not going to say it's a perfect movie by any means. I'm going to say that it's a very enjoyable movie. It's a good Halloween movie. It's a different Halloween movie. It's got some really stupid bits in it. It's got some really good bits in it. And I can just say that I had a great time with it. I know why people don't like it. I can see that a mile off. I think the whole the townsfolk with it sort of shouting all that, like evil dies tonight, that just gets right on your nerves. In fact, at the end of it, I was just laughing at that part. There's a lot of it that's kind of laughable, but there's a lot of it that's quite enjoyable as well as some great callbacks. The whole when they go back to 1978 bit, it was unreal. That was one of the best things I've ever seen in a Halloween movie. I hope that they do more of that. In fact, as we all say, if they could do a full movie of that, it would be out of this world. But I personally recommend this movie, although a lot of people might not like it at all. But it's high up in the list because when I put it on, it's all at night. It follows on directly from Halloween 2018. It's a bit like the original Halloween 2 follows on from the original Halloween. It's like the same night. This movie's, like I say, it's pitch black, and the black levels here are just the star. I've never seen a movie look so good in black levels because, well, it's got to. If it didn't look good in the black levels, it would be not quite watchable, but it just wouldn't be a good 4K. The inky black, and it was one of those ones where you get that sort of feeling that you're thinking, I'm seeing this black levels is just, when you see a movie in 4K that's got good black levels, it's like a different viewing experience than you've ever viewed before, because I'm not used to that, and when I'm seeing it, I'm kind of wowed by the fact of this. It's really hard to explain unless you've seen it in the flesh, but wow, I just couldn't get, and obviously the colours as well were just absolutely amazing. Highly recommended for me for the film. Do take it on the, it's tongue-in-cheek with some of the stuff in here. It's laughable at times. I don't know what they were thinking of introducing certain bits into it, but for the majority of the time, I had a really good time with it. And the 4K on here looks absolutely amazing. I think it probably looks, for me, the best 4K. Well, I can't really say the best 4K of the other ones because they look really nice. The 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from Show Factory, they look amazing. They look the best they've ever looked. But this looks, as a new horror film, this is one of the best new horror films I've ever seen on 4K. So really do recommend it. So at number 2, that's Halloween Kills. So at number 1 in my top 10 watches for the first time in 4K is With a Bullet, Vertigo. Now, a big shout out to Paul, the 4K chef, link down below. He gave me this in a subscriber mail. Can you believe it? I mean, it's just madness. So I just want to thank him again. So to get this on subscriber mail was unbelievable. And I've had this in my Amazon, I've been watching this on Amazon for quite a while as well. And this is the American version, it's got the better book inside. So I said to Deborah, would you fancy watching one of these? She says, yep. So I said, we'll put on Vertigo, because it was one of the ones that I couldn't remember that much. And actually, I know I've seen this before, and when I put it on, I thought, I'm not remembering any of this. I remember the sort of premise about it, but I don't remember anything about the ending or the twists and the turns or the fact of like what it was all about. There's some great sort of memorable turns in this movie, but I don't know, it must have took any notice of it, but I mean, it must have been a while ago since I've seen this. So we stuck it on and we had a great time with it. I can't wait to watch the other 3. When we get some time, we'll be watching them. I think the next one we're going to watch is probably Rear Window. Yeah, so we'll put this on, and thought, I said, this should look quite good. I've heard good reports about it, and I had flicked it on before and thought, this looks really nice. And when you watch the full film, you appreciate sort of how it looks. And to be honest, the colours on here were insane. The level, I don't know how to explain it. It's obviously Technicolor. I mean, the reds in here, just everything was a marvel to look at. The outdoor scenes were so bright. There was just the colours. I just can't get over how colourful this movie was. The reds in some dinner scenes when they were in this restaurant, it was painted red. It was unreal. Actually, it was trying hard to concentrate on the movie because you were actually that blown away by the colours in it. So if anybody's on the fence with this set, go ahead and get it. Even if you only want to get, if this comes out separately, Vertigo, do get it because you're in for a visual treat in 4K. This is what 4K is for. It's for bringing out a movie, but adding that HDR into it, the sort of sharpness to it, because it's pin sharp as well. And for a movie that's, I mean, it must have been made in the 50s, I think. It's just sensational. I knew it was going to be good, but I did not think it was going to be that good. And I mean, the other one, Halloween Kills, is a great movie, but it doesn't hold a candle to this, which is odd, isn't it? To think that a movie from this sort of like time frame is going to blow away a brand new movie. But it just shows you when you get a good remaster on an old print, there's that much information on these 35mm prints that if they get the stuff out of it, they can put a 4K out, which will just be like something you've never seen before, or the movie in a way you've never seen before. So I highly urge anybody to get this set as well, and also this movie, because it was just like, and I mean, Deborah was saying, so this looks unreal, and I just want to thank Paul again for thinking of me and sending me this incredible set. So at number 1, it'll probably be high up in my all-time top 10 4K transfers, is Vertigo. So like I say, the next one coming up is going to be ones that I've seen put before previously, and I'm going to put them through on the telly and just see what it brings, what new stuff it brings to the picture. And I can't wait to do that. So that'll be the next 10 coming up whenever I watch them 10 movies. So thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.
It's good.